Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you the exact content system that I use to passively sell 100K per month in digital products. So I'm going to leave it to the actual slides here and to the actual model presentation and just go through it and show you. So first of all, how do I even know this works in the first place? Well, in the first 10 months, as you can see, all the stats are right here on our YouTube. We've used this content system to get 4.5 million views, 80,000 subscribers, $40,000 in pure AdSense revenue. That's basically like free money. You see, on these ad platforms, you actually have to pay them at least a few $100 per day in order to get sales. YouTube literally pays you to market. No other thing like it. Insane. And that's just in the first 10 months. So we started it and it actually worked. On top of that, in the last 12 months from right now, we've been able to clear 1.51 million. This is just on Stripe. There's some on PayPal. There's some on School. A lot of people like to embellish their revenue. This is actually like not everything that there is even. And here's an example of that. As you can see, we cleared tons of invoices for 2K, 4K, 7K, 8K even, and more. So right now we're only viewing 1 to 20 of 170 results. So as you can clearly see there, a lot of invoices have gone through. And then what's even better than that, honestly most important, is that I've been able to work on my business while I create this too, and work on my business in a way that I'm actually able to get people results, possibly the most overlooked yet valuable metric that there is. I care more about my students' Stripe screenshots than my own Stripe screenshots, which is really why I do it, which is just amazing to see and amazing to be able to experience, helping all of these guys be able to change their lives, hearing how they changed their lives, make a whole bunch of money from where they were before, which is also something I've been able to do because this content system actually allowed me to be able to build a business that actually works. A lot of people focus too much on content and then their actual product itself suffers. I've been able to do that while my product has flourished and my life has also been able to flourish too. I haven't been locked up or chained to my desk for 16 hours a day having to pump out content, but we're gonna get to that soon and exactly how I've been able to do all of this. So there's 3 main points. One is posting value. A lot of people post value wrong, or posting value is probably the most toxic advice out there, and I'll show you exactly why I don't post value as most people do, and we'll just get into that. Next is isolated content tactics. This is what a lot of people fall into, the trap they fall into. And then finally is inefficient content systems. So the content systems that people are using are just having them feel like they're a YouTuber or an Instagram influencer rather than an actual business owner who just makes content in order to grow their actual business. And there's a huge difference, and we're going to get into that here in a second. Now, the first topic of discussion is posting value and why most people do it wrong. Now look, what most people do is they post value, and I use that term very lightly in this context, value. They focus on giving people info and they over-educate their content. They over-educate in their content, they over-educate their audience. But these are actually, in my experience, the worst things that you can do because they actually led me to being stuck in my business for months and hitting a little bit of a growth wall that I had to overcome, like a revenue plateau. Now, the problem is that this is a bundled term that is extremely vague. People think that they're posting value, and sure, you can post value, but what you're posting just isn't value like you think it is, and I'll show you exactly why. This is the leaky bucket theory. This is what happens most of the time in people's businesses. So they do get new viewers, but their leads don't convert. And then they get all of these lost leads inside as well. And they're trying to fill up this bucket as much as possible with viewers and with people who purchase, but then they actually can't keep those people from viewers to followers to then convert into high-ticket clients. It just does not happen consistently enough in their business. Everybody thinks that they have a traffic problem. Everybody thinks that, well, if I just get more views, I just get more people into my funnel, I would make more money. And while that might be true, a lot of people also just get blindsided by not focusing on converting as much of those viewers as possible. Because let's be honest, if you are barely converting your audience, how many views can you really get? How many views can you really get? Sure, it'd be nice to get millions and billions of views, but at the end of the day, if you're not maximizing all of those views, then what really is the point? So here's the reasons. Look, post value might be some of the most dangerous advice in content creation because it seems so obvious, right? It's so obvious. Just go out there, post value, man, post information. Who would argue against posting value? Me. But here's the thing. It's completely meaningless guidance without specificity. This is what most people fall victim to. Now look, I learned this lesson the hard way through what I call the encyclopedia effect. I used to create these massive, comprehensive guides covering everything on the topic someone could possibly want to know. And then people would comment things like, oh man, this is so valuable, this is awesome, but then nothing. Nothing, no clients, no growth, just compliments. And that's when I realized there's a massive difference between what people say they value and what actually transforms their lives. Now, I'll give you a little bit of an example here. If you wanted to learn up on a topic, whatever it is, let's say it's you want to learn about the War of 1812, would you go to the library? Would you look through some encyclopedias? Or would you just ask ChatGPT? Let's be honest. ChatGPT can just do all the research for you and hand it to you on a silver plate. And this is why synthesization is far more important than overall content. We're going to get into that in a second. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So, hypothetical for you. Would you rather watch a 20-minute video that contains one life-changing insight or a 5-minute video with the exact same effect? Now, the answer is obvious, but your audience doesn't have time to wade through fluff, no matter how valuable it might be. So a lot of people add in this fluff and they think that, oh, well, just giving them information is enough, but it's really just not. So here's my solution to this. Here's how my own content system works before we get into the other points here, as you can see. So my own content system. I have a YouTube converter video that I put up on my channel, and all my YouTube and even my Instagram content points people towards that. Now, this YouTube converter video, I'm going to unpack it here in a second. It shows my top case studies, gives away my origin story, builds my email list, exposes viewers to my offers, and also it offers exponentially more value than anyone else, even on YouTube in general, while keeping the viewer binge watching for hours. Now, there's a ton of different ways that I can actually create this, a ton of different strategies that go into creating this exact video, this YouTube converter video. But here's exactly what you need to know. This YouTube converter video is like your queen on the chessboard. It is your most valuable piece by far. If I didn't have this YouTube converter video, I wouldn't have gotten so many views and I wouldn't have gotten so many sales. And here's the thing. A lot of people say when they're in business content mode, business content creators, they say, oh, you don't need views. This person got $100,000 and they only have 47 subscribers. That's awesome. That's great. Happy for them. But let's just be honest. Most of these people say, oh, bro, don't worry about views. Don't worry about views at all. They just can't get any views. They just can't get any views. I went viral and got high intent viewers. You can have the best of both worlds, but the YouTube converter video is how you do that. More on that later. I will show you exactly what goes into the YouTube converter video, but that's a little bit beyond the scope of this very video you're watching right now. If you want to know everything about it and the complete system and how it goes together with the community, the email conversion engine, all of that, there's a link below in the description that will show you more or less a training video on exactly what that looks like. So instead of creating disconnected pieces of content like most people do, everything I create, whether it's a quick TikTok or an in-depth YouTube tutorial, functions as a pathway leading towards my converter video. It's like how all roads in ancient Rome led to the city center, except in this case, all my content leads to my most powerful conversion asset. So this is essentially what it looks like mapped out. As you can see, I have all types of videos that lead back to my YouTube converter video with over 2 million views. I think it's at 2.1 million. It gets thousands of views every single day, and I made it a year ago. Put that into perspective. I'm literally getting the same effect as ads, thousands of views every single day. I'm educating the viewers, and also this is going to convert more than any ad you've ever seen in your life. Over here on the top right, I have a 1 hour mindset video, and that goes into the YouTube converter video. I have a case study. I have an overall general what is copywriting video. I have a controversial video about Andrew Tate. I have a more niche video on portfolios, and all of these lead back to the free 4-hour course. And that's another reason as to why the algorithm loves it so much, is because it creates this binge watching experience where people actually start to go through the library on my channel. Now, this also solves the leaky bucket problem I was talking about earlier, where you're constantly attracting new audience members, but they're just leaving just as quickly as they came because there's no clear next step. Now, your converter video serves as both a powerful retention tool and a conversion mechanism. It gives people a reason to stick around and a clear path to working with you. Now, look, here's the 3 things boiled down into one. Focus on value per minute and not minutes of value. Yes, it was a 4-hour course, but hear me out. This 4-hour course was intentionally written. I created slides for it. I had every single minute edited by professional video editors who I paid thousands of dollars to actually make the videos. But if you look at the impact it's had, it is a small investment for the payoff. And it really is about value per minute and not minutes of value. It could have been so easy, and so many people do this. It could have been so easy to just repurpose a bunch of my YouTube videos, repurpose a bunch of just like, old crappy calls that I did with students or something. But that's not what I did. All of it, essentially all of it, was brand new content, highly edited, highly valuable. And this right here is why that video was able to go viral and it was able to blow up my business. Now look, value is something that someone can use in the next 48 hours to actually get results and move closer to their goal. I see so many business owners struggling with this concept. They just give out random pep talks or they give out random advice, but that's not actually what you want to do. Every single piece of advice you give out, it's not bad to give out advice and tips, but you want it to actually lead to an action plan. You always want it to lead to an action plan, something that someone can use within the next 48 hours to actually get tangible results. Finally, value is not information, it is transformation. If they wanted to learn some info, they would just go to Google. They would just go to get ChatGPT. If your information is Googleable, it is not valuable. This is another reason why it's so important to add your own insights and your own results into it. So right here, for example, I'm showing you, actually this is a very meta point, I'm showing you all the things that worked for me in my business. Now, somebody else could just go Google this, ChatGPT this, and make this same video, but they haven't gotten the results in the way that I have. So for example, in my first year of doing YouTube, I made $42K just AdSense. First year, $42K. So take this video you're watching, for example. I'm showing you everything that helped me, totally unfiltered, for free, and giving you the info. And then the way that actually creates an opportunity for me, then if you want to work with me or my team, not only show you how to do it, but also build out all the funnels for you and literally do the work for you so you don't have to hire more people, you actually save money, then the implementation on how to do that is below this video in the link. So this is where you can actually create more purchasing opportunities because you're giving away the information, which is in 2025, that's the game. You're giving out the information, even your best information for free, but you are selling the implementation. That's exactly what I do with the copywriting program and also with my agency as well. So this is exactly how it works. Look, a lot of people also fall victim to number 2 here, which is isolated content tactics. Look, here's the problem. So you get views, but you don't really do anything with them. Nothing really happens. Now, content that doesn't strategically lead viewers towards your offers. And this is extremely important. It actually leads them towards your offers. Notice that it doesn't say like, here's what a lot of people do as well. You don't want to be one of those people that's on Instagram or that's on TikTok or YouTube or whatever it is, and you're constantly giving out CTAs, you're trying to do promos, you're trying to make the video about your product or make the video about what you sell or even add on these CTAs that just make people click off the videos. There's no other way to put it. They just make people click off the videos. Your followers don't consistently turn into high ticket clients, and you create what's trendy rather than what strategically positions you as the solution for your ideal clients' problems. All very important. Now look, what happens most often is that people actually create content that exists on its own island. It's disconnected from their business goals. Now, the viewers have no clear next step, so they consume and then they leave. They might even follow you, but without a strategic pathway, they remain passive consumers rather than active clients. And you can actually do this without having to feel salesy, without having to make too many offers, without doing any of that, in a completely highly extremely ethical way to where when you actually do it, you'll be sitting there thinking, why have I not been doing this already? This is what your content looks like, just completely on its own and not actually working together in order to serve the same function and the same purpose in your business. Now, look, the second issue compounds the problem, makes it even worse. Your followers don't convert into high-ticket clients. This happens when there's a massive disconnect between your free value content and your paid offers. Now, there's a couple more principles that I'll go over, but really quickly, I'll mention it here. Discovery of your offers, discovery of your products works so much better than disclosures of your products and disclosures of your offers. Discovery trumps disclosure every single time. Because when you come up here and you talk about, oh, I have this program, I guarantee you'll get this much money and this is the results that you'll get. Essentially, it's a whatever week program and these are the results you can expect in your free value. Dude, people are clipping. I've watched the YouTube. I've tried these things, guys. I've done it. I've recorded hundreds of YouTube videos. The retention goes down. It's gone. People are off the video already. However, there are very simple ways that you can actually just hint at people to discover your product. And if you've never seen this or experienced this in action before, it'll be hard to really conceptualize how much of a difference this can make in your business. Now, look, if your TikToks or quick growth hacks, for example, but your premium offer is about building a business, you've created what I call a value offer mismatch. Now, your audience is attracted to one thing, but being sold something entirely different. So there's a juxtaposition there. There's a wall, an invisible wall, stopping people from actually going into your funnel. And a big reason of this is that people suffer from chasing very cheap views. Right? This is extremely common. This leads to the third critical mistake, which is creating content based on what's trendy rather than what positions you strategically. Now, you let platform trends dictate your content strategy instead of your business goals. Sure, jumping on that viral trend might get you views today, but if it attracts people who will never buy your services, you're building an audience of misaligned prospects. And a lot of people have this. And this is the big argument of the people who, say, oh, well, having 300 views of your exact target audience is better than having 1 million views of just randoms. I mean, obviously that's not true, but there is a sweet spot where you do want views, but again, you don't want to chase views and be that guy. You don't want to be that guy. A lot of people chase the views, and while they're doing this, they're running away from the money. Now, these are not mutually exclusive, these two, but it is when you highly focus on this and you have tunnel vision on just focusing on views. That is also not what you want. Now, look, what most content creators miss is that content without a strategic funnel is just entertainment. And if you're on this channel, you're not here to be an entertainer. You're here to actually make an impact and make a difference. You're essentially running a free media company with no monetization strategy. I see creators with hundreds of thousands of followers struggling to sell $37 products, while others with a fraction of the audience consistently enroll $5,000 clients, $10,000 clients easily. Simple. So the solution really is this. I focus on cross-platform incentives. So if someone's following me on YouTube, how do I get them into my email list? How do I get them to my free communities? And how do I get them onto Instagram as well? I essentially want to be ubiquitous. I want it so that when people close their eyes, they see this face. I want to be everywhere. Next is product discovery over disclosure. So I was talking about this a little bit earlier, but I'll go a little bit deeper here. And finally is a healthy mix of niche versus wide content. So the niche content is the content for people who are already familiar with you, and you are creating content to actually get them to convert to the next step. And then wide content, of course, is to bring more people to your brand, bring in more overall eyeballs, and you need a healthy mix. Now, this is, of course, going to be different for everybody. There is no like, oh, well, you need to make 3 niche videos and 1 wide video, because everybody's at a different point in their journey, so to speak. If you're just starting, you're going to want to create more niche content. However, if you are building and expanding your audience, and that's your main goal, is getting more leads because your conversion systems are already in place, then you will want to focus more on wide content. More on that later. So cross-platform incentives, extremely important. Instead of building separate audiences on each platform, I create a synchronized ecosystem where each platform serves a specific purpose in the buyer's journey. So for example. My Instagram might spark curiosity. And I also have YouTube Shorts going as well, which do bring in a lot of views, and the short people convert into long people as well. And my Instagram might spark curiosity, like I said, and then deepens the relationship as well. And then my YouTube converter video presents the opportunity. So they're essentially getting trailers of my long form videos and interested in me and what I do on Instagram and YouTube Shorts. And then, of course, the next step is to convert those casual viewers into high intent followers, right? Even your content is a funnel aside from your marketing funnel to your product as well. So I actually have a really good example here. This is it was like a meme, but it's a 2-step post, meaning I say comment biz to get a free 8-hour copywriting course. So I got 500 comments. So hundreds of people who literally don't know me. This is to basically cold, and 138,000 views, by the way. People who literally do not know me at all are like, yeah, man, let me watch that free 8-hour course. Now, the other crazy part is this. YouTube loves cross-platform views. YouTube will reward you expeditiously for such views, and it's really just business, right? Now, we all own a business. Imagine if someone literally just took one of your competitors' viewers or competitors' people in their funnel and just brought them to you. Wouldn't you want to reward them? And it's the same with Instagram and YouTube. If you get people from Instagram, which is owned by Meta, to go over to YouTube, which is owned by Google, Google's going to see that and be like, hey, my man, my man. So they're going to incentivize you to do that by pushing your videos more in the algorithm, which is another way to just make your YouTube converter video just go crazy. I have so many different ways and tactics in order to optimize this YouTube converter video. Again, not that much time in this video. It's a little bit beyond the scope. So if you want to watch more or be around when that video does drop, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and keep watching. So over here, I have another 2-step post. This actually goes to a free lead magnet. It's got 1,200 comments. And then this one got 2,000 comments. And this was straight to my free 8-hour copywriting course when it dropped. And on a side note, when you optimize how this YouTube converter video drops, it sets the tone for it all. A lot of people upload the video and then see how it does. But there's so much you can do in order to make the video perform. You literally can control the algorithm as the video is already uploaded. And then if you don't, you're just not going to get the best amount of results that you can. Now, finally, is product discovery over disclosure. This is probably one of, if not the most important part of the whole system, because it sets the tone for everything moving forward. Rather than explicitly selling in my content, which of course triggers resistance, I strategically reveal the results my methodology creates. Translation. This approach sparks what I call offer curiosity, where prospects actively seek out how to work with me rather than me having to chase them. Now, the psychological difference is enormous. They're pursuing you rather than you pursuing them. So my marketing funnel kind of works like this. This is how my products go. I have a bunch of free communities, not a bunch. I have 2 free communities on Discord and on School with over, I think Discord has over 60,000. School has around 50,000 right now. And I also have a boot camp, which is just $99 per month. So essentially in the boot camp, in the free community, this is what this looks like. So they get all of this awesome stuff, right? All these free courses, templates, tools, resources, but then also they see that there's locked content in there with the bootcamp. And then this makes them say, what's that? They've never heard of this before. So they want to learn more. So now, because they're in information gathering mode, they're going to come across this and think as though it's their idea. It's my idea to go across this stuff. I wonder what this bootcamp is. I wonder how much it is. And now they're already on the sales page. And me being on YouTube saying, yeah, guys, go to the sales page is going to be extremely ineffective compared to me just putting this here, me just peppering it throughout my content. And with this, I was able to get 456 members in at $99 a month, which is like basically completely passive. I mean, this is just a nice thing to have, MRR. And also the people who come from here over to my high ticket are the best students possible. They already know me. They're already farther along. They get more results. So essentially, educating the audience before they even come in and come to you will get you better results. The better results you could use as case studies. The case studies you can put in your YouTube videos and your content on your front end. And it's essentially just a feedback loop, a flywheel, if you will, where the more people that you get into your low ticket, the more people will get into your high ticket that actually get results. The more people that get into your high ticket that actually get results, then obviously the more you can market that, the more people get into your low ticket. So again, it's just a system that works together instead of just a bunch of isolated tactics that get in each other's way, which most people do. Now, a healthy mix of niche and wide content is next. Now look, I create what I call discovery content that reaches new audiences along conversion content that speaks directly to my ideal client's specific problems. Now, this two-pronged approach ensures that I'm both expanding my reach and actually deepening my connection with those most likely to buy. Without this balance, you either have a tiny audience of perfect prospects or a massive audience of people who will never buy from you. So there's a sweet spot, a mix. And it's, again, different for everybody, especially depending on how long you've been creating content. So for example, this is very, very wide content on people who are wondering what Andrew Tate's course was like. This is also very wide content because it is just a mindset course that got what, 33,000 views. And then over here is my more niche content. This is my converter content where I actually give out resources. For example, how to build a portfolio, 30,000 views, and top 5 copywriting exercises. These appeal to people who are already copywriting, so they go out to my ideal consumers. And finally, on top of everything else, one of the biggest things that keeps people stuck is having an inefficient content system. Because it's not just about what content you make, what results it gets. It's also about how much of a burden is content. A lot of people don't understand this and don't think of this, but I'll put it this way. I've been able to make over 7 figures per year in profit because I run all organic marketing. But with that being said, there's a caveat. See, a lot of people think that acquiring clients is free, and it's not actually free technically. There's still work that you have to do. So, for example, if you and I are both making content and I take 2 hours to make the content and you take 4 days to make the content and they all get the same results, the business that I have that just got the same results as you, but it only took me 2 hours, is always going to outperform expeditiously. It's going to outperform like crazy every single time possible. So, it is of our utmost highest priority to make sure that our content is efficient so that we can create content, but also build the business and we don't have to become a slave to the content. So here's the problem. The 3 mistakes that I actually see most coaches, info product creators make. Constantly copying other people's content. They get writer's block trying to come up with new ideas, and they're not using AI / over relying on AI to make their content, and it just sounds awful. It sounds terrible. Everybody can see, everybody knows, and it's just bad. So first, there's what I call content copycats. Now, creators who spend hours scrolling, looking for what's working for others, and then trying to recreate it. But the problem is this, is that you're always one step behind creating yesterday's content. Plus, your audience can smell the inauthenticity from a mile away. Now, when you're copying, you're in constant research mode instead of creation mode, doubling your production time for half the authenticity. And it just doesn't work that well. You're just going to be creating what everybody else is creating. It's not working that well. It's not converting like you think it is. See, when someone else creates this video that did really well, it got 100,000 views, you're going to create basically the same thing. And because you're second place, you're never going to get more than they are getting. Think of it like this. I'll actually draw you the picture. Let's say this is that person, and they're actually getting a whole bunch of views, okay? And then this is you. If they are getting, let's say this represents the views, they're getting all this amount of views, and they're only leaving behind this little amount of views. You will never get more views, better results than this person up here. You're only going to be able to have their breadcrumbs, the stuff that they dropped. And obviously that's not what we want. We want to be this person here, which is what I'm about to show you how to do. Actually ideate with content. So next is that people sit down to create content without a system and immediately hit creative gridlock. They waste hours staring at the screen thinking, what should I create today? I'll have this video. Then they start creating the video and then they're like, no, I don't like that idea. Let me start from scratch again. Now, this stop-start approach is incredibly inefficient without a content framework, and you're essentially reinventing the wheel every single time you sit down to create. Your ideation process has to be dialed in. Otherwise, you will not go anywhere fast. Now, the third mistake is some creators avoid AI entirely, insisting on doing everything manually. Now, AI can't write better than me. I don't want AI. AI is just a marketing ploy that's used by big companies to make people buy. Well, others do the opposite extreme, letting AI generate everything, resulting in the same generic, soulless content everyone can spile a mile away, talking about, oh yeah, let's embark on this journey. Oh man, this is going to be a game changer. It's like these AI sentences are so overused, overplayed that it's just extremely obvious. Now, both approaches kill efficiency and effectiveness. The sweet spot is using AI as your assistant and not your replacement. You can use AI to do the heavy lifting for you, but you also have to go ahead and curate it properly too. So you need to have the right system in place. Now, the reason is this. You don't want to be a YouTuber or an influencer. If you're here, you want to be a business owner. That's who this channel is for. The distinction is everything. Now, most people get it backwards. They create content endlessly chasing views and followers, thinking that that's the end goal. But the truth is that the content should serve your business and not the other way around, which is why actually systematizing everything is the best. And you think, maybe not you specifically, but so many people think that, well, I spent so long on this content, therefore it's going to perform very well. I spent so long on this content, therefore it's going to get me more clients, therefore people are going to like it more. Dude, some of my best videos were just like, I literally had an idea, I recorded it a couple hours later, I uploaded it, and I got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. And then other videos, I'm like, oh, this video gonna go crazy. I was scripting it, scratched it, scripting it, scratched it, scripting it again. Then I uploaded it after hours and days of planning and recording. Flop. Flop. So if that's what it's like, you might as well just create content that is good, that is effective, that is transformational, but you don't have to spend all day creating it. Now, this is the servant versus master paradigm. When content becomes your master, you're trapped in a never-ending production cycle that consumes all of your time and energy. You find yourself creating more and more content just to feed the algorithm beast, leaving zero time to actually operate or grow your business or actually even live your life. You can't operate or grow your business. You can't focus on your product, and you can't take a break. You can't take a break because you're always writing YouTube, writing short form. You always have to do stuff. And this is what it creates. Now, this looks like a little bit of a freaky diagram, but it's true. This is what it creates. You are just whipped by your content. You're content whipped. Now, my solution is this. Building what I call the business first content system. Now, this means creating efficient processes that generate high quality content without consuming your entire schedule or life. It includes batch recording sessions, repurposing strategically, and focusing only on content that directly supports your business objectives. In other words, how you post is more important than what you post as a business owner. This is the exact system that allowed me to do all of these things. Get tens of millions of views across my platforms. Create a B2B business, which you're watching right now, my B2B channel business, where I can present all of my ideas and I can actually get clients and grow other people's businesses as well, because growing businesses is just a passion of mine. It's what I love to do. And I get the privilege to do that because, again, I'm not grinding away at content all day, every day. Get tons of results and case studies for my students who I already have. Record hundreds of hours of content with no stress or burnout. Now, you see all the content on the front end, hundreds of YouTube videos, but I also have hundreds of hours of content on the back end as well in my low ticket products, high ticket products. I mean, I'm in front of the camera quite a lot, but I still do it in the most efficient way possible. And I also hit 7 figures in profit with my organic content only in my business. What I did, I went from content copier to concept copier. Copying one person is plagiarism, but copying multiple people is called research. So there's a way to do this properly and quickly without taking too long. And while you do this, again, you're adding in your own insights, you're adding in your own ideas, and it is much better than just, like I said, watching someone else's content that did really well and then just copying it. That's what so many people do. I've built what I call my content multiplication machine. Now, my entire week's content takes just 4 hours to record. It's super simple, super easy. I set up my camera. I do everything at once. I usually do it 1 to 2 days, and that's it. In my short form content, long form content, and paid content, all recorded, all done. Next is use AI for ideation and optimization. Extremely important. Using it to do the heavy lifting for me while still making my content sound like me and perform and not sound like a damn bot. So this is the basics of my content system. And like I said, there's more to it than that. There's also having communities that actually convert, and also converting people with other things like email, for example, your email list, and having it dialed in to the max. Now, there's a link down below in the description that actually does talk about all of those things, and also a YouTube video on this very channel. It's the only other YouTube video that I made that was before this one. So you can go and watch that as well. And I'll actually leave that in the description too. And then of course, like I said, if you want to book a call with me so that me and my team can not only help you implement this whole entire system into your business to get your result, but also build out the system for you so you can save time and money on hiring and managing other people, then go down and book a call with me. Peace.